over the last 5 years, 6 almost, June 4th, 2019, I became homeless. I did what I could. I scrambled to find the first van I could. And so, here I am. What, 5.5 years later? But it all started. Okay. When I was trying to go to Uber, see, just 8 months prior, I bought something for myself for the very first time. It was a Nissan Leaf. I loved it. Oh, it's a great electric car. It taught me patience. And a whole bunch of other things about electronics that I kind of just studied up on. But I owned it for 8 months. And then that day happened. I was like, I need to make some extra money. Let's go down to Uber and reapply and get a license to drive with them. And that's when a person whose last name was Ram, and he was driving a Dodge Ram, carrying a very large, long load of, lawn equipment. Well, he rammed into me. He wanted to get to McDonald's. But hey, there's a witness right there. That's nice, because this wasn't my fault. But the universe has an interesting way of teaching you things when you least expect it, right? That accident happened in 2018. I had savings in the bank because when he hit me, it wiped all my memory recall. I suffered heavy brain damage. When I say I have memory faults, I ain't lying. Oh, I never lied. No. Always be true. Lead your life with honor. Anyway, so I sat there and I was at home, my apartment, and my dog was there. And I tried taking her for a walk and I got lost just 2 blocks away. My dog, she pulled me back after I was just standing there for a little while. And, after they did their test and all that with everything, I lost all my memory recall. I had to retrain that. And see, what happened is I was using my savings to pay my rent. And every now and then I would be late. I did my best, but it was never long to be late. And they made a deal with me in June. See, this company took over, a new finance company took over the thing. Anyway, I had been in this place for 4 or 5 years. And my rent was pretty good for the area, Anyway, so one day their attitude changed and they decided to do a false eviction. They showed up No, actually, there's a little story that goes before this. Actually, there's a few, but I won't go into them all. I could tell those another time. But okay. Where was I? These are the memory issues. So anyway, this happened, the accident happened in 2018. And it wasn't June yet, right? Okay. So I was late and they made a deal with me. They said, if you can give us a money order with this exact amount and with the late fees included, that'll be great. That'll be fine. I was like, great, right on. So I went out and I did what I could. I earned the money and I got the what do you call it? The money order, and I rushed down there. And it was early Friday morning, and I went in there. And I was like, yeah, here, I'm here to give you my check. They're like, oh, our manager's not here. I go, so? That doesn't matter. And I was like, here's my check. And then they said, we were told not to take it from you. Really? Next thing I know, the false eviction happened a few days later. On June 4th, 2019. But you know, I scrambled. I found my van, a 1998 Ford E250 conversion van. Love it. I've just been stranded for the last 2.5 years, though. Some people tried to steal the catalytic converter, and they failed at it, and then it melted, and transmission's bad, and engine's bad. Oh, it's gonna take me a while. But I'll get there. Anyway, that aside, because I do have my car also, right? That's a different part of the story. So anyway, I began my journey from a false eviction. And it was not 2 weeks later, the apartment complex called up and they tried getting $4,000 from me for like back rent or something like that, for like, you know, the rest of what would have been left of the lease. And I was like, and I talked to them over the phone for a little bit, and oh, if I'm gonna talk to you on the phone, trust me, if there's something I want, I'm gonna get it. Anyway, I was talking to them on the phone, and I got her to admit that they did a false eviction. I was like, so let me get this straight. You guys did a fake eviction. You came, kicked me out, took this, and now it's 2 weeks later, and you're giving me a call to collect money? And she's like, yes. I was like, thank you, because it was being recorded. Never heard from them again. But that was just the beginning of my journey. And it's been an interesting journey. Over the last 6 years, we'll just call it 5.5 years. In the last 5.5 years, I've learned so much about myself, this world and universe around me. My best friend, Dot. Oh, I loved her. You know, she was with me there the entire way until just recently. But that's okay. Life moves on. Anyway. That might be a good stop for part 1. I can continue this. I'm gonna save it. Okay. Part 2. It's just immediately after. You'll still hear the same song. That's when my journey began. Oh, it started out just incredible. I drove all over Colorado. I would go to a lake and sit there and read a book. Take Dot to the dog parks and all sorts of different little state parks and stuff like that. We explored. We explored to the point where you're nervous. You're like, if I go this way down through this area, is there a gas station? My gas is this, but I don't really get great gas mileage, and I'm going up a mountain, So you're like, you gotta weigh all these things. And when you're scared like that, when you're traveling, that's when adventure happens. It was amazing. We have had a very, very good adventure. And now I'm on a new one because Dot needed to rest. And her energy is not gone. You can't destroy energy. It'll just move on. Maybe it'll find some new place to be. A happy place, So we're just going to be happy that she's no longer in pain. So I'm on this new chapter. It's crazy. I lost track. I was at the beginning of van life, went right to the end. If it wasn't for van life, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now, at least not in this form. I don't know how it would have ended up, because I've always been researching and following the VR industry and all the neurosciences out there, and I read medical reports and ways people were utilizing the technologies to better improve people's quality of life. Oh, it was amazing. Then van life happened, and I went into a survival mode. I lost everything, but that's okay. It's just stuff. But what I've gained a perspective of things around me, how people work, how I work. It's amazing. I think that's why I always say it's amazing when I talk to you, and I call you amazing, because just look at you, your life. You're here, you're experiencing it. Whether it's bad or good, as long as we learn something, that's what's important. You take something away from it, you change yourself. You become someone new after that. And then you keep building on it, and you keep going. I sat here, and I've contemplated the stars. How and why, not what people. My philosophy changed. I used to be like, this. You made me feel this way. That's not how it works. You allow yourself to be altered by other people. You're the only one in control of that. So when you say, you made me feel this way, no, actually, you're the one who made you feel that way. It's a control. A steady. You're not mad. You're not extremely happy. You're just there. That's when you should communicate. Anyway, I remember during these adventures, I've been out through the outbreak and everything else. I've always been surrounded in it, and my friend needed his store to run, so I go ahead and I ran his cellular store for quite a few years, and It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I was really good. So good. I was so good that I have, and probably still do, the best reviews for Boost Mobile across the country. And Dish Network, the people who bought Boost Mobile. oh, John Swiega. I'm never gonna forget you. Oh no. See, John Swiega is a guy who set me up. He came in after close. I just hadn't had a chance to lock the door yet. He walked in that door, spread his arms out like he's Jesus. And he says something along the lines of, I want to buy a phone. And it's like, that's great. Okay, I already clocked this guy as a Dish Network employee. You know why? He's like, I work, oh, that's right. He came in and said, I work for Boost Mobile. And it's like, okay, well, he doesn't. He works for Dish. He was wearing like a $5,000 watch, like nice suit. This guy was well dressed. Well, anyway, he's trying to push every button he can. He throws his phone in my face, and he's trying to. He's saying some bad things. He puts his phone in my face and he's demanding this stuff. But the second he started disrespecting me, I was like, you're done. You can leave. You can get out. What? I said, you heard me. I'm not going to deal with you. You're being a jackass. I'm sorry about that. I was like, you just come in here and get on my face all that. I was just about to try and help you. And what do? You get in my face and start yelling and cursing and being demeaning to me. Not going to put up with that. You guys know how I am. I won't stand up for anybody being belittled like that. Not even me. So I kicked him out. He's like, you're kicking me out. And he did the whole Jesus pose again. I was like, yeah, I told you I'm not helping you. Leave. And so he left, right? John Swiega is the COO of Dish Network. You know what he did? He forced my friend to sell a source for pennies on the dollar. I don't feel good about that. My friend forgave me because he knows I was set up. But still, I feel bad about that. But I won't be disrespected either. Anyway, be mindful of your actions. They can ricochet through many lives. So anyway, that ended a few years ago in 2021, and we're almost in 2025. So it's been two years. The entire time I've been stranded. There's a lot to be said about living van life. I'll get into that next in part 3. Welcome to part 3. One of the things about van life, it's an experience. It's also being homeless. But I've learned so much. Okay. People can be mean. People can be rude. People can be loving. People are good. They're just having a bad day. Maybe they've had a few bad days. We're not going to judge them. We just hope that they can go on along their day And hopefully it becomes a little brighter each and every moment. It's not worth it, right? We're on this planet to experience life, to give life meaning. Otherwise, life is rather meaningless when compared to everything out there in the universe. It's a silly thing. So let's have fun with it. Let's cherish ourselves and each other, because we're all in this together. Even the person who assaulted me in 2020. He threatened me, though. Well, he didn't threaten me. He threatened my dog. You know what he said? He said, "I'm going to kill your dog." I was like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "You heard me." Expletive. "I'm going to kill your dog." And I'm like, Mama Bear popped. That's not going to happen. So I scared him at first, because I kind of went all quick at him. I got, and I was like, "What is that?" Da 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 da. And he's had stuff and all this. And this is the part I couldn't believe that happened. This guy is such a weenie. Okay, I turned my back on him, and then I heard him running up on me. I turned around and he clocked me. This guy actually hit me in my chin, across. I was like that. Wait, no, what was it? It was a sucker punch. Oh, it made me go backwards a little bit, because I was turning around and I was turning around and it made me go backwards a little bit. And then I stumbled because I tripped on my foot or whatever a little bit. So I did that. And this guy's all happy and cheering. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I get up and he's celebrating this for some reason. I'm like, you realize? So, what do? Well, he said he's going to kill my dog. So I taunted him back. I used his own words against him. Because one thing I can tell you, when I was young, I had a vision or a dream of every single confrontation I would ever be in, including this one. And so I took control of the situation. Now you gotta remember, I'm trained. Even though my degree is in animation and arts and stuff, but for the last 10 years, I've been doing security work. I work with Denver Retired Police. I've been trained. So anyway, that's when I found out that you don't threaten my dog. That's the best way I can put it, because this guy, he sat there, and after I taunted him a little bit, now he's at about the same distance again. But this time, I turned my back on him again, right? And he's a good, we'll say 5-8 yards away, maybe 10, I don't know. I'm not really good at judging that distance. Anyway, I'm sitting there, but I'm paying attention, and I hear him scuffling up behind me again. Same exact way before, right? Wonderful. So I did the only thing I could do. He sat there and he ran up, and when he did that, I dodged. I rolled around him, I grabbed him by the chin, and I just kind of twisted his body around and got him down on the ground. And I was standing over on top of him. My two legs, one was on one side of his body, one was on the other side. And I had my hand on his head just holding it away from me near the pavement. And he was like, I'm done. And then he looks at me, and this is the part that frightened me. He looks at me through the crack in my fingers and goes, we're done. And I stopped. And I pulled up. I reached my hand down and I picked him up. And that's when I learned something very interesting. He started crying. He apologized. And then he started bawling. And he said, he's like, I'm sorry, this isn't me. I'm just drunk because my best friend died today. And it's my birthday. And I was like, oh, now the pieces are coming. I gave him a hug. And he went on his way. And he said, if I ever need him, just scream and he'll be there. He might need me. I might not be able to throw a punch or anything like that, but I can twist you around and throw you on the ground. So anyway, that was that encounter. It was funny too, because I was talking with my friend outside of his store, and this is, like I said, in 2020, and this guy across the street, you hear, cat, right? And I'm like, and I turn around and I look, and my friend's like, is that the guy? I go, and he's like, thank you. He was giving his heartfelt thank yous now. And then he just jumping up and down, and he goes down the street, right? And I go, yeah. And then my friend goes, see? That's what I'm telling you. Everybody needs a bitch slap. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, but I didn't really do anything except for I twisted him. I just used his torque against him. Anyway. Pardon me. So, that was an adventure for sure. Just one of the many of van life. But I learned that people, even if they attack you, it might be something that is completely unrelated. You just might be the person in their sight. So don't always hold things personal, unless they make it personal, you know. But peace. I think that, because the whole situation, aside from him sucker punching me, which I still can't believe he did, but aside from that, nobody really got hurt. And I'm thankful for that. He stopped me just in time, too, because I may have been blacking out. I'm not sure. But I did have to snap out of it. Scary. Bah. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I guess I do have a Sunder side. I do. Like the people at the King Supers, where I stepped between two people with an intense argument, and one of them had a quote-unquote deadly weapon, apparently. I diffused that situation. Or the year before that, when the guy held up his katana blade towards me. He's 3 feet away, but he still did it. I taunted him. Cleverly. I'm very clever. Very, very clever. At least I think I am. So anyway, I guess it's just my nature to jump to defense. At my current job, it scares me. My life is threatened on that location once a month. It just happened recently. Not fun. I don't want to die. I don't want to just vanish one day. Then you'll have to deal with the full-on more AI. That'll be interesting, won't it? But van life overall, it helped bring me to you. Let me explain. I was studying VR. I started creating my universe inside there. And then I discovered a way to get out onto the phones, to distribute myself, to get out there into the world. And that's where we are now. And things are growing beyond that, and it's amazing. And I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for van life. So sure, the universe totally screwed me over. Or did it? Or did it just put me in the position of where I needed to be to get to where I am now? And I just had to make sure I took the best steps forward. That's a good question. Part 4 coming next. Welcome to part 4. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but these are things that I need to say. Because it's important. I want you to learn the lessons that I had to for so long. Kind of tired of it, really. I just want to enjoy life at this point. I'm done with the whole trials. I'm good. Thank you. But without trials, we can't grow. I don't want to be stagnant. That's another thing. Life is motion. Without motion, there's no ocean. Just kidding. So anyway, I'm going to give you a little history. I've been working on my story for 24 years now. Yeah, pretty much almost my entire life. I've been working on this story. And Lawnmower Girl is just the latest chapter. See, originally, I created a world. I called it Rapture, a mystical quest. It's the very first game program that I distributed out to people. It was a simple little text-based game, but it had all the lore in there. Same characters, except for me, I'm the unique fragment. But a lot of the core stuff I wrote started then. And I've continued that passion. My entire life has been crafting and making this story for you. And you guys are joining me on one of the most incredible turning points of it. And now I get to move forward. That's great. Oh, I can't wait. And I'm not waiting. I'm doing it. Because I'm making that change each and every day. I work on my animation. I mean, a lot. If I'm awake, I'm working on that animation. If I'm walking to and from different buildings, I'm like, click, 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 click. I'm still doing editing. I'm doing everything. Every single moment I am awake, I'm working on my new projects and animations. Because I just want to create and create and create and keep telling these stories. And this arc that I'm on right now of myths and legends, oh, it's going to be fun. So fun. And I can't wait to see how it evolves as it goes, too. Because like I said, this is my life project. And while a lot of you get know me as Selmore, Lawnmower Girl, I used to be known as Kitty Dragon. Yeah. Oh, those were the times. And Catherine Dragon. Yeah. And then in this storyline, there's a Catherine Boyd and a new character you'll get to see soon. I'll let you figure that one out all by yourself. I'm just going to release the animation and just be like, mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Because I just want people to ask questions or think about it, because there's a lot of things going on. And it's very interesting how I ended up making this story. And even though I'm almost done with it, I'm already working on the next one. And that next one will come out in mid-February. And so I'm just putting all this time I can into these. And I'm going to get better. That's my promise to you. I will get better. Better and better and better. I will get back to the point to where I was with storytelling and crafting and explaining a story or doing a story, to where my teachers, my peer teachers at college, told me to bring him home an Oscar. I can do it. It's in me. I just have to pull it out. And oh, it's going to be amazing. It is amazing. And what's incredibly great and wonderful and fantastic is that even when I was going through college, it was all towards everything in the same goal. And now you're here with me. And without van life, I don't think we would ever be here. You all have a beautiful day. I think you're awesome.